Hi, my name is Carl Valeri, host of Aviation Careers Podcast. Don't let a past medical problem keep you from becoming a pilot. You'd be surprised at the different medical issues that you might have that will actually allow you to move into becoming a pilot. We're going to talk about that in this upcoming episode. This comes from a listener mail. It's feedback at aviationcareerspodcast.com, or go to aviationcareerspodcast.com/contact and fill out the form. Because one of the things that we want to do is help you move forward in your career, and the best way to do that is send in your questions so that we can answer them. So this question comes in from our YouTube channel, and he says this: I think you should do an episode with a veteran with a VA disability who became a pilot. What is his or her obstacle to getting a first-class medical? Well, first of all, to be able to do that, I'm going to have to find somebody who's willing to talk about that on the show. I will say one thing, though. I do work with a lot of pilots, ex-military, people that are still in the military that are looking to get out and become a pilot, that have actually been able to do that, even though they have some type of a medical issue in their past. Maybe they have a VA disability and they don't know how to claim that, etc. So let's talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of misconceptions about getting your medical and things that you have in your past. I know he wants to focus on VA disability benefits because of the fact that it's been in the news a lot lately, that people are getting denied their medical because of the fact that they didn't disclose something in their past. We're going to talk about that. But first of all, let's talk in general about getting your medical and having an issue in the past with your medical. So don't let it prevent you from moving forward in your career and in your life. Oh, and by the way, the sponsor of this episode is giving away 50 of those scholarships guides, and they actually help people that have issues with medical issues in their past, dealing with medicals and trying to get their medicals and some legal issues. That is the law offices of Strumer Law. Robert M. Strumer, LLC, and you can find them at strumerlaw.com. They're giving away those 50 scholarships guides by using the coupon code StrumerLaw. The law offices of Robert M. Strumer, LLC handles various aviation matters, safety investigations, and pilot medical certification. You can find them on the web at www.strumerlaw.com. So don't forget to go get your free scholarships guide. And if you're thinking about becoming a sponsor of this podcast, go to the Pay It Forward program. It's real simple. Click on Pay It Forward on the right side of the screen. So first of all, let's go over some of the challenges in your past with your medical, some of them perceived, some of them that are things that we need to work on. So first of all, the big one is not having perfect eyesight. As long as your vision is correctable to 20/20, you become an airline pilot. It's less than that if you want to become a recreational pilot. But one of the things that we think is that we have to have perfect eyes, and that's not true. It hasn't been true for many years. Airlines will hire you with less than perfect eyes. I know when I started, there were certain airlines that would not allow you to wear glasses. So let's get that in the past. You don't have to have perfect eyesight, but you have to be correctable to 20/20. There's some other issues as far as eyesight is concerned, and some other eye issues that you may have to navigate through. And that's something we do here at aviationcareerspodcast.com/coaching. We actually integrate our coaching with either people that are in the medical field or also attorneys that can help you through that whole application process, and also working through the medical process. We're not doctors or lawyers, but we work with some really good doctors and lawyers, especially the law offices of Strumer Law. There are some things, though, too, that you might perceive will stop you from getting your medical. Some of these things that are in your past, though, might be an hindrance, might not. But there's a really great way to figure that out. The FAA website, and I'm going to have a link, by the way, in the show notes here, as far as where you can find this information, as far as if you're medical, it'll be valid. So that is something that you need to look at on the FAA website to figure out, do you have a medication that's going to prevent you from getting your FAA medical? So a lot of this work you can do without someone like myself involved. But if you have problems navigating it, we're here to help. The big elephant in the room currently, and this is in 2023, is having a VA or Veterans Affairs medical disability in your past and not being able to obtain your medical. I think a lot of people are misconstruing some of the information that's out there. First of all, most importantly, is that if you have a medical issue in your past, especially if on the medical form for the FAA, it says, have you ever had X, Y, and Z? If you do not disclose that you have a Veterans Affairs disability, or if you've had something in the past, if you've had a medical issue in the past, they can prevent you from getting your medical. Again, that's how they prevent people from getting their licenses, right? It's not really the license that they're taking away. It's really your medical that they're stopping. It's very rare that they actually take your pilot certificate away, but you can't fly without the medical certificate. So with that said, make sure that if you do have something in your past, like Veterans Affairs disability, and remember it's a little bit different for the veterans in that there are certain things that you can be quote unquote rated for with a disability that you wouldn't even think was an issue going forward. Like for instance, say you broke your ankle, you have hearing loss, those type of things that you've corrected, right? But you think that you don't have to disclose that. But remember, there's a lot of things that you need to disclose in your past. And if you don't disclose certain things, they might actually not issue you your medical. So make sure you consult with an AME consultant or with an aviation medical examiner, that is AME, aviation medical examiner, and speak with them prior to you actually going for your medical and explain to them what the issue is. A lot of the medical examiners that you work with, they're willing to help you. So find someone that's worked with airline pilots in your local area. Go out and talk to them and say, hey, listen, I have this in my background. I have a VA benefit, a disability benefit. Is this going to prevent me from getting my medical? 90% of the time, they'll say, no, it's not going to be an issue. There are some things, like going back to what I talked about with medication. You'd be surprised at some of the medications that you actually can get a medical with. And this is something that I see a lot of times with younger folks going into some of the schools and having certain SSRI medications. That's something that you have to look into. There are, again, simple, go out to the FAA website, look to see if that's one of those medications. There's a process that you have to go through to be able to get your medical. If you are getting off that medication, you need to go through this process to make sure that you can actually get your medical. It's a simple process. It may not be easy, but it is a fairly simple process. Sometimes they're complex, and that's why every so often, there's 3 to 5%, I'd say, that have those complexities. Then it's time to hire one of these medical examiner consultants or an attorney, depending on where this is happening. Say you've been denied and you think they're not following the letter of the law, or you think that you should be able to fight it. You might want to hire an attorney, but for the most part, you can go through an aviation medical examiner consultant. There's lots of good ones out there. I suggest Aviation Medical Advisory Services. There's others out there. And as a matter of fact, I probably should put a list on my website. I just have AMAS on my website, but there's a few others that are really, really good. Hey, if you have one that you want to suggest to people, put it in the show notes here so that I can put the link actually in the resources. And if you want to find all those resources, aviationcareerspodcast.com/resources. So again, look those up, those antidepressants, find out if you may have an issue flying with those and what you need to do if you are taking them and you want to get your medical. The other thing that I really want to stress is that there's been this local news story where there's people that have been denied their medical. You have to really read the news and you have to figure out what the situation is, and everybody's is different. Again, I've been working with veterans for over 20 years, helping them navigate the process of getting from the military into the civilian world of flying and other jobs, primarily flying. And sometimes there's words that we use in the civilian world that they don't use in the military and vice versa. So sometimes navigating those two different worlds can be a bit of a challenge. But remember this is my biggest piece of advice as far as that's concerned. Do not lie in your medical. And if you don't think you need to disclose it, ask somebody. Because if you're thinking, do I need to? Do I not need to? Ask somebody. But the biggest thing you can do for me is do your research. If you have something medical in your past, don't let that prevent you from becoming a pilot and moving forward in your career. What you need to do is this. You need to do your research. And to do that research, you may want to employ some consultants. For instance, the sponsor of this podcast, Strumer Law. Strumer Law actually is giving away 50 scholarships guides because they want to help you move forward in your career and in your life. And the law offices of Robert M. Strumer, LLC, you can find at www.strumerlaw.com. And they actually can help with many different things. They handle various aviation matters, safety investigations, pilot medical certifications, and everything from soup to nuts, small planes and big planes. You can find them again at www.strumerlaw.com. Oh, and use that coupon code StrumerLaw to be able to get your free scholarships guide. And if you want to know more about how to get a free scholarships guide, just click on Pay It Forward on the right side of the screen when you go to Aviation Careers Podcast. But do this for me. Moving forward with your career, don't let a medical issue stop you from moving forward. Figure out what you need to do. Are there things that are going to prevent you from becoming a pilot? Yeah, there are. But you need to figure out if your medical condition is something that's going to stop you from moving forward. And to do that, you find someone like us, aviation career consultant, or you find a AME consultant, aviation medical examiner consultant. You talk to an attorney, like the law offices of Strumer Law that actually deal in medicals, and ask them. But there's so much free information out there on the internet. Start there first. Do your research. Don't read the forums, read the FAA website. Make sure you find out what the situation is and specifically target your situation. So again, do this for me. Take one step today to move forward in your career and in your life by going out there and doing research on this issue. It could be something small. It could be something like looking up a website, watching one of these YouTube videos, or listening to it on iTunes. Or it could be something big, writing a letter, setting up an appointment with a career coach, with one of these AME type of consultants, or with an attorney to find out if your situation is going to prevent you from moving forward in your career. Or if you're somebody that's listening to this and you know that you won't have an issue going forward, but you're not quite sure, just start doing your research. And you can always ask. aviationcareerspodcast.com/contact. Ask us and we'll try to help you out. But one thing that I'd like you to do for me today is take action. Take action now. Don't stop. Take one step every day to move forward in your career and in your life. We'll talk to you next episode. Safe flying out there.